Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today we've got what will hopefully be a short video. Sitting here on the table disassembled is a Sig Sauer P365. We've also got a Hellcat. Both of these are real thin, light, two-finger grip kind of guns. Hammer's got large hands. I normally don't put grips on them, but we're actually going to put Talon Grips on this P365, and Hammer frequently puts like Hogue grip sleeves, and he's going to put one on his Hellcat. And so the first video we're going to do is the Talon Grips going on the P365. Then I'll also show the other grip for the Hellcat, which is actually really kind of cool. It's got green inserts for the logos on the Hellcat one. So to start with, you want to field strip the gun, and we won't need the slide for what we're going to do. I'm going to push that out of the way. And you'll notice I kind of pushed it with the back of my hand. I'm going to keep my hands clean. So before I started the video, I cleaned my hands. I want to make sure there's no oil and stuff on my hands. And I pre-cleaned the grip, and I'll kind of describe how to do that. But you want to clean everywhere that you're going to put the grips with alcohol. 91% is the best to use. It can be found at most various different pharmacies and stuff like that. Typical rubbing alcohol is 70%, and it'll work, but the 91% does a better job of getting rid of grease. But you want these to be completely grease and oil free. And then once I cleaned them, I'm going to try to avoid touching the grip itself, and I'm going to try to avoid touching the adhesive of the grip sleeve. So I'm going to set this aside for a moment. I'm going to take the package out. This is Talon Grips. You can buy them from their site. You can buy them on Amazon. These are real popular, and they've got a proven track record. They come in rubber and sandpaper. These are the rubber variety. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up and see what we've got inside. There is the grip. The inside of this is kind of rubbery, which kept them from moving around. It's kind of got a rubbery texture. What that did is it kept the grips from sliding around in the packaging and getting into a corner and getting all wrinkled up. But won't need the packaging anymore. They come with a sticker, if you like stickers. And they do come with a cleaning pad. Most of the grips you're going to see come with a cleaning pad. This is similar to what you might get at a seafood restaurant. This really is kind of tough to clean the whole gun thoroughly with just this. So I used alcohol and a paper towel, but there's no reason you couldn't try to do it with this. And then you've got the grip. And the grip is sitting on this cardboard, and it kind of gives you the safety rules. And on the back of it is the instructions on how to do it. And one important note is to use only rubbing alcohol for cleaning. Don't use your gun cleaning solvent. Most gun cleaning solvents will leave some oil behind. They're intended to. They leave a lubricating layer. Alcohol will clean it and completely clean it. So I'm going to pull this off of here. There's a backing layer on it that it's stuck on here pretty good. I want to pull it off without removing the backing layer. But there's a backing layer on here that keeps the adhesive clean. You don't want to peel that off until you're actually ready to go. And what you want to do is you want to do what's called dry fitting. Check this against the firearm. Make sure you've got everything and you understand where it needs to go before you peel the backer off. Most of these can be repositioned maybe once, maybe twice. That's about it. After that, they're pretty well ruined and you have to start over. So I want to line this up. This one goes on from the back, and there's a little tail that goes around the back strap, and then it's going to kind of go around the front. I think I have this one upside down because there are cutouts. There, I had it upside down, so that's why you want to dry fit it first. And I took it right out of the package and went for the first time, but you see this is how it goes. And then this piece is going to wrap around the front. This little tail is going to go up the back. And then this would also line up here. And it's important that you don't get it cockeyed like this. It's going to get in the way of the controls. That you don't get it out over on top of your magazine release. You want to have it well centered. But you also want to make sure that you don't have a bubble at the back. That you don't get it lined up and then it's bubbled at the back. Because then when you go to squish it, you're going to constantly be chasing it. It won't ever set down. So it's important to understand exactly where the fitment is. So I think I've got it fitted on this side. So I want to hold it there, turn it around, and see if I have it fitted on the other side, and I don't. So you're going to play with this until you get the fitment just right. So I'm going to stop off camera because, again, I just took this out of the box. I'm going to play around with it till I understand exactly the way this needs to lay. And that's an important step. That is the first step to failure, is not doing that. Once you fully understand where it needs to lay and everything else, then you're going to be able to put it on. Because, again, you're only going to get maybe 1, 2, 3 at the max peel and re-sticks before the adhesive is ruined. And from that point forward, then you have to start over. So I'll pick back up after I've had a little time to look at this. So I took a little bit of time and I kind of verified these are not attached. I've just kind of dry fitted them. I'm holding them with my hand. It's clearing the magazine release. It's clearing the magazine well. It's clearing the magazine release on this side and wrapping around the magazine well. So I've kind of figured out where I'm going to put them. That basically is the first step. Now with these, the way that Talon recommends is you start with the left side of the gun and work your way around. So I would start with this side and then go around that way. And then this piece here is actually going to wrap around, and it looks like it goes too far, and it kind of does. You're going to flip it up under that lip and then set it back down. So at this point, once you're sure you're clean, your hands are clean, the gun is clean, you figured out how it kind of lays, you're still going to have to kind of fly by the seat of your pants as you go, but at least you've had a rough idea and you're not figuring out as you go. You got a rough idea where things are. But one other thing I'll do is I'm going to take it back off again, and for curiosity's sake, I'm going to measure the width of the grip. So it's 0.975, 935, so it will all depend on where I hit. So let's say 0.9 3/4 inches. And then front to back is going to vary definitely depending on where I hit. But I'll go to just under this finger groove, at the low point of the finger groove. I've got 16.86. So they say that these are 1/2 millimeter. So it should add basically 1 millimeter to the dimensions, because it's a 1/2 millimeter on one side, 1/2 millimeter on the other. So it'll add 1 millimeter front to back, left and right, and then it should add a total of 2 millimeters all the way around when you figure, grabbing it all the way around. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to follow their instructions. I'm going to work from the left. So I'm going to catch with my fingernail, or you can use a knife, a piece of this backing. And I'm going to try to use my fingernails anytime I need to catch, like I needed to separate these two. So I was grabbing the paper with my fingers, but I used my fingernail to go up under this so that I don't get my finger up under there. And I may have to touch it, but I'm going to try to minimize the possibility of touching it. Now that I've got it started, I can actually use my fingernail again. I'm going to lift it more. I need to get a little more peeled in order to be able to go forward. I don't want to peel it all. I just want to peel enough to start. And yes, it's going to occasionally want to flip back, which is why you want to have your hands clean in case you accidentally touch it. Want to line it up, grabbing it from the sides if I have to grab it, which you're going to at some point have to, and try to get it lined up like you had it as close as possible, and then just kind of touch it down a little bit. Don't actually glue it in place. Don't push on it and glue it in place. Get it centered. And this is a little tough to do for the camera because I'm also trying to see it. But as I work my way around, now I've got some of it stuck, I can just keep peeling. I want to try to center the back piece. At least to keep it from moving. And then come around a little bit further. What I'm working on now is I push with my thumb a little bit to make the piece back here set down, because I really don't want to bubble. I don't want that to bubble up at the back. Make sure this is laid down. Now I'm starting to, as I get closer and closer to done and see that it's lining up, I'm actually starting to set it down. And I'm pushing this way. Anywhere I do push, I'm pushing towards the part that hasn't set yet to be able to make sure that I don't drive any air bubbles up under there. Now I'm going to lift this piece up because I want to put this lip up under there. Put that lip down, and then set this piece down. Now I'm starting to squeeze more. So as I get closer and closer to done, I'm squeezing more, making sure that if I've got any ridges that I flatten them out. And then from this back piece, anywhere here, if it were to happen to need to be lipped under, but you'll notice left and right, this got a little bit of a gap. So before I set this all the way down, I'm going to recenter that one a little bit, which again I can do until I actually really force it down. That one's offset just a hair. This one's being a little bit twitchy. There we go. Set that down, give it a push. Now at this point, start rubbing and making sure that you're driving any air bubbles out. I got a little bit of a ripple here, but I'll be able to set that one down with my fingernail. And now the grip is installed, but I'm not done yet. So the last step of this is to take either a hairdryer on high or a heat gun on low and heat the whole grip. So I'm basically going to heat it evenly, back and forth, rotate it, heat it evenly. If I get any bubbles at that point, put them down. And I want to get it no hotter than about 120 degrees, which is basically a hot cup of coffee. So if I can comfortably touch the grip, it hasn't gotten too hot. But if I don't feel heat, like if you're holding a cup of coffee, then you haven't got it hot enough. And basically you're just kind of heating the adhesive up, helping it set, and helping making it permanent. Now running this hairdryer on the video live would be an obnoxious sound, but you get the idea. Heat it evenly, press it down, kind of get any bubbles out that you might see, like there's one right there I need to get rid of, and the heat will help me with that. And then when I've heated it up and I've pressed it all in, let it cool before you go any further. So I'm going to stop the video because you don't want to listen to the hairdryer running, and then I'll pick up after I'm done. So I made a whole bunch of noise and heated it up. And then basically I pressed it all down. I paid special attention to press on the edges. And when you press on an edge, press from the center out. So I'm not wanting to come this way because I don't want to peel it up. So anytime I put pressure, I'm pushing this way to seal the edge down. And I was able to get rid of this little bubble that I had here. I was able to get rid of that. And the back, these aren't bubbles, they're actually splits, which are on purpose. That's the best way to make something not bubble, is to have a split where there's curve. And now let's see, out of curiosity's sake, .7, so it added a millimeter. And then it's going to be a little harder to do this one because again there's so many various, but 11.65 or 17.685. That's where it about settles. Actually, it's 1.7685. The lights were hiding that decimal point. So I made it about 1 millimeter in each direction, total of 2 millimeters thicker. Makes it a little bit easier. Now these are the rubber ones. They do make them a sandpaper grip. The rubber is a little more comfortable. It makes it a little bit more easily held. And at this point, I can put the slide back on. Of course, remember with the Sig, if this gets back up, you have to push up the slide release to bring it down. And one of the annoyances of the 365 is that won't stay down. Minor annoyance, but annoyance nonetheless. Now we'll see if that makes it a little bit easier to get a good grip on it and keep it on target. And it actually feels quite comfortable. It fits well in the hand. It's not wanting to slide around, and because it's the rubber one, it's not scratchy or sandpapery. So we'll take it to the range. We'll see if it does anything to improve the ability to hold on to it, improve the grips, the groups. It does look nice. These are the molded ones, made for this gun, so it doesn't look choppy or broke up or kind of cobbled on. It comes really, really nicely well done and easy to put together. So we'll see how this works. We got it off to the range, and the grips did everything they claimed to do, everything that Talon claims it to do. They're comfortable, they're good quality. They did make it feel like it wanted to stay in your hand a little bit better and give it a little bit of cushioning, so they're very comfortable grips. What I'd hoped it would do is make the grip just a little bit bigger to make it fit in that sweet spot. What I find for both Hammer and I is that small guns with very small grips like the P380 and the 42 are easy to shoot well. Go to the next size up, like the 43 or the PM9, and they can be a little bit, the grip's just not quite right. Then you go a little bit bigger, you'll get into the PPQ-SC or the Glock 26, and we're back into the perfect territory. These didn't do that, but Talon didn't claim they would either. So if you're looking to put these on to make the grip a little thicker, like you would with potentially like a grip sleeve or a Hogue grip, they probably won't do that. If you're putting them on to get a little bit better texture or a little bit better staying in the hand, and you're looking for a quality piece of material to do that, these are that. They're just not going to solve a grip thickness problem, and they're really not designed to. They're designed to be thin and just give you this extra stickiness. Overall, I would say they're good quality. I would rate them highly. Just make sure that you're trying to solve the problem that they're designed to solve. Beyond that, give us a thumbs up if you like the video, of course. Share, subscribe, click that bell if you do. Check us out on Facebook, Patreon, Gunstreamer, Instagram, etc., Twitter, and have a great day. Thank you.